You guys, I have no idea what this video is going to be about in any way, shape, or form, but I just wanted to make a video because I am trying this experiment where I do whatever the fuck I want within reason, because, you know, I could go down a whole rabbit hole of toxic shame, whatever, etc., but my point is, if you know yourself and you know that you're not a bad and terrible person, which is what toxic shame would lead you to believe, you could actually just trust yourself and trust your intuition. And this is why, like, TLDR, why so many trauma survivors don't know how to trust themselves. So that's fun. I am currently in that weird stage of, like, trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing in general and with this channel. But I am allowing myself to sit with that discomfort and trusting that whatever is meant to happen is going to happen. And the reason why that is so uncomfortable is because we want to have the illusion of control, that, like, we think that what we do is gonna create a certain circumstance or outcome, and that's not necessarily true. We can think that, we can try to copy other people, but the thing is, if it doesn't feel aligned, if we are not internally aligned, if we don't know what we're doing or why we're doing it, like, if we are not just generally in tune with ourselves and our body and, like, that body, mind, spirit alignment, like, how do we know what's actually good for us versus, because we could just follow, like, especially with the internet, there is so many freaking rabbit holes you could go down and so many traps, for lack of a better word, to fall into because you can't discern who you are, what you want, what you should do. And spoiler alert, there is no should in this scenario because nobody can tell you what you are meant to do or what you want to do, etc. Like, take this video for example. I turned on the camera and, mind you, I was not expecting to look cute as hell because literally this is exactly how I looked going about my day, and I've been doing absolutely fucking nothing. I went to bed with yesterday's makeup on, so still wearing it, you know. So I don't know what's happening, but, like, I'm here for it. So yeah, anyway, I turned on the camera. I have no idea, absolutely no clue what this is going to be about. All I know is I have a lot of ideas and things I would like to say, but none of them are concrete and whatever. I didn't expect words to fucking come out of me like this, and yet here we are. That just goes to show, if, like, you just trust your instincts and your impulses. You know, I could have followed the guru's advice and got out some notebooks and been like, I'm gonna plan out my video and my script, and fuck that. You don't need that necessarily. If you work better like that, okay, fine. I do not. I don't have a script. Like, I literally, like, look at this. I got 2 crystals, and that's off. Okay, here's your proof. I've got nothing. No apps open. Okay, there's nothing here. Ignore my bed. I'm literally been sleeping with no sheet on my bed. No sheets. The sheets are washed. Okay, but listen, we're not going to talk about my problems. So anyway, so there's also a Scorpio full moon happening tomorrow at the time of filming, May 1st. I am a 28 degree Scorpio sun, and this full moon, I believe it's hitting like 11 degrees Scorpio, which is right the fuck on my IC and my Chiron, which are both at 10 degrees. So that's fun. So first when I found that out, I was like, oh great, like this is, you know, like as a Scorpio, sign conjunct Pluto with that hellish IC placement, I'm quite used to transformative energies, we'll say, to deep traumatic wounding type of things, etc. So I was like, okay, whatever that means. Like, I was just like, okay, like, what am I gonna do? You know, like, whatever is gonna happen is gonna happen, right? So I was just like, let's just roll with it. And I still don't really know what's gonna happen, but I truly don't know what's going on with this full moon, which is funny because as a side note, the Scorpio new moon that this is related to, because I watched a video on it, I might link that in the description box below. It was on my birthday, November 20th, 2025. With this one in particular, I feel a need to, like, not necessarily not take any advice, 222, but to take any advice with a grain of salt. I kind of laugh every time because Salt is one of my favorite channels. I'm a channel member, very much all up in her business. So, like I said, I'm taking all advice with a grain of salt because I feel like, for me, I'm feeling called to just go with what I feel. And I haven't even, like, because I watched a video about the astrology of this full moon or whatever, and I don't really remember any of it because honestly, I just don't care. Don't care. I'm kind of tired of reading into things and kind of like over intellectualizing, etc. And I do feel like this full moon is related to Pisces energy somehow. Don't really remember why, but I don't know, it doesn't really matter. But I feel like with this full moon we should be getting in touch with our instincts and deepening our intuition, inner child healing. That's what I'm feeling personally, but I feel like it should really be on a personal level, personal basis. And I will say this one thing, that even though the full moon is tomorrow, I had a dream last night. So my mom is no longer with us. She died like 12 years ago. So she was in my dream. And it was, I can't even remember if it was like a childhood thing or what, but basically it felt like the dream was recreating, like, I was going to say like a slight exaggeration of how she would act through my childhood, but it wasn't really an exaggeration, to be honest. So like I was just, you know, being like my normal, loving, slightly attention-seeking self. And my mom would just straight up like ignore me, like, all the time in the dream, I mean, but not unlike real life, so we'll just say that. And so she was just like straight up ignoring me and paying attention to like everything, anyone else but me. And so in the dream I got frustrated all of a sudden, and I just told her, I was like, you know what, I'm sick and tired of you acting like this. And she was just kind of like looking at me like all like gagged, like, what? I don't remember what I said. It was something like that, but like I just kind of went off on her, and I was like, I'm sick and tired of you acting like this when like I don't even need you anymore. And that's all I remember from the dream. And knowing like where the full moon is hitting, I'm just like, oh, okay. So I woke up feeling generally confused, not because of the dream, but like it was just really confusing afternoon because I slept till like noon. But anyway, that's besides the point. But I didn't feel confused about that, and I wanted to share that. I don't know why exactly. Honestly, sharing like my family trauma is something that like I felt a lot of shame and guilt around before, and I'm not saying I'm gonna go like tell my life story or whatever and like center my life around it, because that's not what I want to do exactly. Like maybe one day I will tell my story or whatever, but it doesn't really matter right now. But yeah, I, for whatever reason, just felt the need to share that because I don't know, like if someone can relate to that, or if like you take something from that message. Okay, it's so hard to like find the words for it, but it's so interesting because for me, my mommy issues were such a fundamental part of me. It was such a fundamental wound. I mean, hello, I have like Chiron directly on my IC, you know what I mean? So, and I'm a Leo rising, I have that Cancer 12th house, you know. Which is ironic, 'cause my mom was a Cancer sun. It's just like, the jokes just write themselves. No, just kidding. Okay, but anyway, it's interesting because, like I said, it was such a fundamental, huge wound for me. And even though I had this huge breakthrough in my dream and my subconscious, it feels so anticlimactic. Like, I just feel like it's just another day. I don't know why. Like, maybe it could mean, I feel like this is a message for other people too, that maybe you have come so far and you just don't even realize it, because like the big breakthroughs you have like every day are so significant, like you don't even realize it anymore. I feel like that could be something. I don't know, it's just like for me it feels like proof that I have healed significantly and integrated a lot of lessons and a lot of the shadow. Because I was trying to think of, like, I was thinking a lot about integrating the shadow earlier and I couldn't remember why, and I was thinking about Pisces energy and I was like, I don't really see the correlation, but I think what it is, at least for me, it's like I have a Pisces south node in the 8th house. I feel like what this moment in time is trying to teach me, because I've got the Virgo north node in the 2nd house, I'm having my nodal reversal at the moment, and I feel like what I'm learning lately is to, and like, because that nodal reversal, it's not happening for everyone, but like the current transit is like the Virgo, the south node is in Virgo, the north node is in Pisces, right? So I feel like for me, that nodal reversal is about withdrawing control, and so that's what I was trying to say, like, is a collective theme. It's like the shadow sides of Virgos, like, where are you trying to nitpick, go over the details, and like have this illusion of control, and like how is that a bad thing, and like how can you let go and release? And I really connected to the Piscean energy earlier today, because I realized that I don't need to force or try to control the things that are meant for me, because the things and people and experiences, etc., whatever it is that are aligned with you already will match you on a soul frequency, or like will match you, because as you are doing the work on your journey, you are going to eventually match that frequency if you haven't already, and you are going to attract it in, and you don't need to chase, to control, to try to put like soul connections into into boxes. You don't need to sort it, you don't need to like make it tangible at your control, because you don't have control over it, and it already exists. Like, it's just like, the way I worded it was, it's like trying to put something that is infinite into a small box. It just doesn't work. It's because like that energy of like soul connection, and this is all over the fucking place, but I don't care. Whatever's meant for you, like, it's already going to be aligned and attuned to your frequency. So being anything other than yourself and like trying to force things and just like orchestrate, it just doesn't work. Like, and so to tie this all together, it's like you don't need to try so hard. And like, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you don't need to try at all. And when I say that, I don't mean do nothing. Like, you can if you want to, but today I realized I really don't have to do anything. Anything I do that is trying to consciously influence people, like if I try to make it logical, like if I do X then Y will happen, you know what I mean? There is nothing I can do that would cause that to happen on a conscious level. With that perspective, I realized I can just do whatever I want within reason. When I made up my mind about that I can do whatever I want, I realized I don't actually want to do nothing. I don't really want to bed rot and agonize over every fucking decision and life path and like what am I doing with my life, etc. Like, I don't want to do that. Even though that's what I've been doing for like a very long time. So like, I ordered some food, I watched a couple more videos, and here we are. I don't know if this was cohesive at all whatsoever, but to be honest, I don't really care, because the point is you just need to stop trying. Just stop trying. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to force anything, because forcing creates the opposite effect I feel like I've said this already, and I think it was actually my first video. But it's one thing to know it and another thing to like realize it and truly embody that energy, you know? Not to sound like AI right now. But what would it look like if you just let yourself exist today? Do you even know how to do? Because for me, I actually started like tweaking over the idea that not only did I not have to do anything to achieve my dreams or attract what I want, I realized that I couldn't actually do anything because it seems counterintuitive, but it's actually counterintuitive to the energy. Because if you're trying to force something, if you're consciously putting all your energy into like, I don't have this, how do I acquire it? How do I get them to come to me? Or how do I make myself have that life? It's like you're constantly putting out the energy that like, I don't have the thing. And what I realized is I was like, this connection that I feel to my desires is just inherent, and it's in everything. And that is the Piscean energy I was referring to, is that I feel like is integrating the shadow in a good way of like, first of all, recognizing the traits about you that are like not as ideal, like what, especially like having a Virgo North Node. It's kind of like, what lengths are you willing to go to achieve what you want? And with Virgo, the shadow side can be like perfectionism, control, nitpicking, critiquing, criticizing, like picking it apart to death, you know what I mean? On the flip side, I demonize this Piscean side of myself, you know, the South Node, the comfort zone of having no boundaries, of being one with whoever, everything, literally everything. The thing is, it's not necessarily bad. Like it's not a good thing if you can't be independent, if you can't separate yourself, or if like you lose yourself in that experience. Like you need to have both. Like you need to have that individuality within the collective. But my point is, the good part of that is that we are never really alone. Like the frequency that we embody, we can't force that. It comes naturally, it comes organically over time, and it's not necessarily a time thing, because it's not linear. It's just through the natural progression of life, and like the degree of our resistance, and like what choices we make, and like how our experiences shape us, and yada yada yada. Like we can't, there are so many things we can't control. We can't control when our desires will show up in our reality. We just have to trust that we are already one with that. And the only reason why I say in time is because that's how our world functions. That's how we understand the world as we know it and perceive it. Like that's why divine timing exists. It's just gonna happen when we attune to that frequency. I hope that makes sense. Like I hope I don't know. I feel like that's all I need to say though. So like let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns. What the fuck was this? I don't know. And like, if you enjoyed it, feel free to subscribe if you feel so called. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.